and we are celebrating independence in a true spirit. Did you get the squatters away from the place?
Oh, he's a big squatter, so
He won't go. Huh?
very big. He's caught in the ceiling.
He can't get out.
But tomorrow we'll board it up there. He's a very big raccoon.
Very big squatter. The squatter is right. We didn't know that he was squatting there, and we not charge any rent for him. Tell him that it costs money here to stay. Can someone please close that window for her? So how is the day? Independent day, very good? Do you feel independent? Why you are independent? Why you are independent? Oh, there is Angela, Sanjala. You are independent or dependent? But we are all dependent on what?
Swamiji.
Dependent on what? No, on bank balance. Someone please help him. Come on, Chandra. Just see if you can help that. Be careful, they are going to take your veena away from there. They are going to just jump over the veena. Just call. It's got with one hand, but one hand is sufficient. One hand is more powerful than two hands. It's called dependent on, not two hands, depend on one hand. So the meaning of independence means not depending on depending on your husband or on your wife or on your children or on your bank balance, on your stock, what do you call stock portfolio, or depending on health or beauty or power or position. Why? If you depend upon all these things, what happens? What happens? It is like holding on a straw. A dying man is holding on a straw, thinking that he can be saved. But as you are clinging on the straw, someone threw him a iron bar to hold. Vasudev, you ever tried to hold an iron bar when you are swimming? And that iron bar brought him only more to the bottom. So if you are going to depend upon any external agents for your happiness or your strength or your freedom, you are mistaken. Because no one can depend upon anything, including your government or your defense force or air force or even Salvation Army. You can't even depend upon Salvation Army too. And I also joined, I made another two more. Salvation Air Force I got Salvation Navy too. When I flew over the Berlin Wall, I was having Salvation Air Force. Well, the Suez Canal, Salvation Air Force. My plane I called Salvation Air Force. And I also got lots of Navy ships, or broken ships in Nassau, Bahamas. Called Salvation Navy. But the real salvation has to come from within. You can't depend upon anything outside. Because beauty will go away. People who depend upon the beauty, like Marilyn Monroe, what happened? People depend upon the power, like Hitler, Mussolini, Chernenko, and Andropov. Where are they? They're all just being eaten with germs and worms. Bacteria is by killing them. So look into our life. Anyone who depend upon anything else, they came to sorrow. Because they do not know the freedom is within. The reality is within. The happiness is within. Power is within. Ananda is within. You are that Ananda, bliss. You are that power. You are that knowledge, consciousness. You are existent, immortal. That's called independence. When you are depending upon anything, an object is called independent. You are depending on something else. Just like if you are depending upon a cigarette for finding happiness, that's called independence. You have become the slave of the cigarette. Some people cannot get up from the bed unless they have a Colombian coffee. And now you got a automatic percolators with the timer, with the computer. You just tell the computer what time you have to wake up, and not only wake up, the computer will bring a cup of coffee with as alarm rings. You don't just try to hit that alarm, but here is boss. Here is a cup of freshly brewed coffee for you. They got time. Nowadays, the modern gadgets are coming. And so this electronic robot will bring you coffee early morning. It will wake you up, and then without getting you angry, boss, here is the coffee for you. You can drink your coffee, and you also light a cigarette and give a cigarette also. You can light cigarette and then be happy, have a good morning, and you will call this. That's called dependence or independence. A person is only dependent when you transcend the mind, the most powerful enemy. If you are unable to train it, Maneo Manishyanam Karanam Bandha Mokshayoho, as the great sages say, mind alone, Maneo Manishyanam, mind alone is the cause for the human being's bondage, as well as the same mind is the cause for your liberation. For liberation, you don't have to get some other type of mind. The same mind, if you know how to use it, the right direction, the right way, the mind will give you liberation. Or the same mind can bring you pain, unhappiness, misery, and make you a slave. Example is the ladder. You use the ladder to climb up. Did you use the ladder to climb up?
Yeah. And the flashlight.
And the flashlight too. So to remove that disturbing squatter, you use a ladder to climb up. So that you'll have peace of mind, silence. But a person uses the ladder without proper discipline or control, like a drunken person who's trying to climb up the ladder, and that he's already shaking. And if you try to climb that ladder under condition, intoxicated state, what will happen?
Fall down.
Pardon?
You'll fall down.
He will fall down and break his neck or head, or even his life. That's not fault of the ladder. The same ladder is supposed to take you up, but also from the same ladder you can fall down and break, and the opposite reaction. So the mind is like a ladder. If you know how to discipline, how to train the mind, it will take you up. One day, in my house at Samadhi Estates camp, I just came out, and outside I saw a raccoon. And but I found he has got a collar on his neck. My God, who put this? And how did it come to my house? Because nowhere, any other house has got it. So someone must be trained that. So he came and occupied in front of my house. So I said, try to get him out and gave him some peanuts or something else, and so he will get away. But he won't go. As soon as I opened the door, he came inside the door. he wanted a nice place. And we straight away into the closet and just tried to sleep there. I said, this is not a place for you, get out. He wouldn't go. And it was a great difficult. Then I had to use temptation to get him out. Because by using any stick, he won't go. And so I use he loves the cookies, very much. So I just brought some cookies. He started running. So I just slowly moved out, and then he followed the cookies, and suddenly I closed the door. And then he starts crashing the door and breaking the door, and I won't go. Where is my cookie? I want cookies. Then anyhow, I got no choice, so I just put him somewhere, a bed outside. I gave, so he sleep there, and I gave food. And he's happy, but he wants to always come to my bed and sleep with me. He's not happy, so whenever I close the door, he'll knock and break everything, you see. And then sometimes he's very naughty, so I just gently beat him on his head, Come on, stop that. And sometimes he bites me, stop that. And so when I stop hitting him, what he'll do? He'll take his hand and cover up his head. Don't beat me. I never seen a funny raccoon like that. It was getting bigger, then I got a plier with great difficulty. I had to cut his, because I know he's getting bigger and bigger. And his collar is choking him. I know someone must have put a collar and kept him. And so I cut him out, and then I just caught him and sent him away for the addition. You know how to trap. Why don't you trap him? You are a trapper, no? He learned how to trap things, Put a trap outside, Make a trap and get him. And get him. That's the best way, You won't be able to get him out unless you trap it. So anyhow, the same way, just like that I caught the raccoon, not by force, I will not be able to get him out. But only by tempting him. So also the mind has been tempted to get him away from his sensual pastures. That means the raccoon is stuck and very difficult to get him out. He won't come out. So also your mind is just like that, exact example. It has got its own whims and fancies. I am here, your boss, for thousands and thousands of years. I was your boss. Now you ask me to get up at 4 o'clock. You ask me to get up at 5 o'clock. Who are you? During my holidays, Independence Day, you used to go and stay there for till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I used to go for dance and get drunk and all those things I used to do. Now you say Independence Day, you come and sit here and close your eyes. Who are you to tell me? So the mind is revolting. Well, so you tempt him. All right, I will not ask you to sit down quietly. You do something else. You keep your mind busy. Now, you pull up the energy there. It's just like tying with a rope on his neck. I can't move. Well, you stay there now. I told you. Slowly, as you start practicing like that, he knew he is no more independent. He is depending upon. I tied him with prana. We call it prana, the energy. But along with the tie, as his tilt is wandering nature, we made him to be steady in one place, either the chakra, or on a mantra, or on a light, or focusing on a picture, Om, or Krishna, or Rama, etc. As you start to focus by your own effort, before it is to run like a wild monkey, uncontrolled wild monkey, slowly it learns to sit quietly. That's called concentration and meditation. To keep him quiet, you can't ask a wild raccoon to keep quiet. He won't. He was making lots of noise, you heard that. But you have to tie him. And the tie, to bind him, you use prana. What is prana? To tie this mind, you use prana. This subject is a long subject, very long, and very difficult generally for Western mind to understand the theory of prana. We all know that we got a mechanism called mind. You use that mind for thinking, willing, action. The same mind contains emotions like love, happiness, peace, joy, compassion. Solve the negative emotions like lust, anger, greed, hatred, jealousy, envy, fear. These emotions, these various activities of the mind called desires are nothing but thoughts or thought wave. So different types of thought wave exist in the mind, like in an ocean. There are tall waves, short wave, powerful wave, sometimes very small ripples. So stormy day, the waves are no more regular, it is irregular, with the foaming, steaming ocean, uncontrolled ocean. Sorrows even the big ships. We know that. Same way, mind is just like an ocean, but this mind also contains waves. Patanjali explains about these waves as vritti. Vritti. And the mind, the lake, as chitta. Chitta is the lake or the substratum. The waves are the vrittis of the mind. And the word, the waves are the modification of the mind. Thought waves are the modification, or any wave is the modification of the ocean. There is no difference between the ocean and the waves. Ocean is made up of water, so also the waves. When the same water takes a specific form, specific velocity, specific force, and when you start moving in a specific direction with amplitude, big amplitude, small amplitude, etc., you call it a wave. So, also, mind, there are waves arising and dissolving constantly. This is called thought waves. So, yoga is yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Means, yoga is stopping this modification of the mind, or the vrittis of the mind, or the waves of the mind. When you are able to still and stop these modifications of the mind, or the thought waves, then the seer sees the self. The yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is stopping this mental modification. That's all. Just like when the waves are subsided, you see your reflection very clearly in the water. Before, the reflection was disturbed and distracted, broken because of the waves. Even small ripples will not give you a clear reflection of your image, of your face. You see only a distorted image of your face. And this distortion increases in proportion according to the velocity or the amplitude of the waves. Same thing, you are unable to see yourself as called the freedom. I am, that I am, that's called freedom. We are unable to see this I, yourself, Atman, Brahman, whatever the name you call it. You are unable to perceive this because the waves are in very high velocity or lower velocity. It distorts its nature. Your real essential nature is Sat, Chit and Ananda, existence absolute, knowledge absolute and bliss absolute. There is no pain in you. There is no ignorance in you. There is no death for you. It's eternal. But we are afraid of dying because you are having a distorted image of you. You have fear of death because that's distorted image. You are also feeling that you are ignorant. You want to know more. How much you study, how much you go to schools and colleges and universities and postgraduate courses, still our knowledge is only a small tiny grain in the vast sandy desert. So also our happiness is finite. How much money you owe, how much money you put in the bank balance, how big palatial house you have, how many swimming pools and bedrooms and bathrooms you own, how many cars and Cadillacs and Mercedes you own, how much money in the stock market you invested, how powerful you are. All of this doesn't matter. Whatever you get it, you are not happy. Something is still missing. Doesn't matter what you get it. Power, position, money, billions and billions of dollars and all the things. Still once you get those things, you are unhappy. Still that something is missing. We don't know what that missing thing is and how to get that. Because that missing thing is not outside. What you're looking is not outside. That happiness you cannot find in objects. Because that is belongs to the subject I am, knowledge or peace, bliss, ananda. You can't get this peace or bliss by dancing, music, sensual experiences. Only it reduces your peace of mind and happiness. That drink, that smoking, that pleasure, that champagne, you know that only make you a slave, not a free man. Yet you want freedom. So that image what we get when the waves are disturbed is distorted image. I am finite. I am an individual person. I am having finite experience and finite knowledge and finite happiness and finite experience, which you are not happy. Though your essential nature is Tat Chidananda, existence absolute, knowledge absolute and bliss absolute. So Patanjali says, stop these ways, you'll see your real essential nature. Then he continues with Te Panjale Krishta Akrishta. There are certain types of vrittis are very painful, certain types of thoughts are painful, certain types of thoughts are not painful. Then he describes the 5 types of vrittis. I don't want to go in detail about the subject, but to understand that only one vritti will not bring you pain. That is, when all the waves are stopped, stilled, then you get a vritti or an experience without duality. All other vrittis, their duality exists. So there is pain. Because pain and pleasure are the upwards and reverse of the same coin. You can't have one-sided coin or one-sided paper. There are always 2 sides. So in this world of duality, or the world created by the senses and mind, you can only get an experience of duality. That is, we had a day, now we have the experience of the night, darkness, and we go to sleep. Tomorrow you wake up again, day. So day and night are the 2 types of experiences. Same way, heat and cold, darkness and light, victory and defeat, gain and loss, pleasure and pain, war and peace, storm and calm day. So you see, in this universe always revolving in these pairs of opposites. You can never see day alone. You can never say always sun, sun, sun. In fact, you will never even enjoy if sun is every day. You just go to Sahara Desert, you find sun every day. And there you pray for what? A shower and a a cold breeze. So, there is no way we can get absolute happiness from this universe, because everything is made up of like these pairs of opposites. If there is 2 good people, there will be 10 bad people. If there is a peace at the yoga ranch, you also see the signs on the way. Grossingers have everything. You see some signs, grossingers, except peace. They got lots of pieces. So if there is a yoga ranch, there will be grossingers also. In Paradise Island, there are casinos and gamblings and so forth. And the same year when the casino came, first time, Paradise Island, they built those days in 63 or so, they built the first casino. At that time, Paradise Island was owned by Huntington Hartford. Then he could not get the permit to build a bridge, etc. And so he lost lots of money. So he sold to gambling people, and they immediately built a huge casino, $70 million worth of casino, and all the paraphernalia, all the drinking, gambling, dancing, naked, bottomless and topless and bottomless and brainless, etc. And people start coming for that. And the same year, I started the yoga retreat, also the same. Never happened, yoga retreat. In the Bahamas, people come for gambling and drinking, and I couldn't get permission. And somehow I able to see Pindling, Prime Minister, and told him, you have all the gamblings and all the people come for these things. Just I want to introduce people who doesn't want to drink and gamble. I want to introduce a yoga retreat, but I don't get permission from the town planning. Permission won't give me permission. And so many problems, neighbors because they are millionaires. Because still Huntington Hartford was owning a small, a big house next to me, and lawyers and so many, all of them, multi-millionaires they occupy. And they said the lawyers are called to stop yoga retreat coming among their beautiful mansions, some kind of hippies and Charles Manson type of people are coming to kill everybody. Anyhow. So I told him, what exactly is expected from him? Nothing else. I wanted blessings. So I said, you'll give my blessing is with you. Then I called town planning, I got a Prime Minister's blessings. We got the permit next day. Anyhow, that came because, as Gurudev says, law of compensation and retribution. If there are 5 scoundrels, there will be at least one good person there to balance the energy. That's called the universe. So we have everything is going on at this time, dance, music, drinking, parties. As you know, the New Yorker is coming. 15 million people coming to Manhattan today. I saw all the televisions blazing in Canada about the lady's birthday. Everyone is going for a date with the lady. And all those, everyone is having a crown. They can take hats and crowns and dance and music. There's no harm. It's good. I'm not talking that's bad or good, but anyhow, people are just enjoying drinking, smoking, gambling, thinking it's all happiness, but they forget their life is being slowly burned out, just like the candle, the lamp is burning down. Soon there will be no more oil, the lamp will be out. So also our lifespan is burning down. They don't see that, because they don't have discrimination and dispassion. So you are here to understand the meaning of freedom. Freedom comes only when you stop these mental vrittis. So that vritti, when there is absolute standstill of all the vrittis, then the seers, Patanjali says, see the self, I am. Just like the waves are gone, you can see your reflection very clearly. Again, Patanjali explains very beautifully about the mind. I don't think any other psychologist in the whole universe knew the nature of the mind, like the Patanjali said. It's an explanation, very simple and very direct. Then he says that different modes exist for the mind. like in electronic watches, you've got modes, time mode and what are the modes? Even this has got modes, various types of electronics, alarm modes and time modes and wake-up modes and international time modes, etc. So the mind has got 5 modes or moods, if you want to make it more easy to understand. Patanjali explained these 5 moods: Chipta, Vikshipta, Mudha, Yagagrata and Niruddha. These are the 5 states of the mind, or 5 moods of the mind, or 5 types of waves. First is Chitta. It's called scattered state of the mind. It's like a violent stormy day. The waves are irregular, powerful. Undercurrents are terrible. If you get caught into that undercurrent, you'll be swallowed by that undercurrent and taken away from the shore to deeper to seas. And even those great surf riders, surfers, they cannot take a proper control of their surf boats. They'll be thrown away by undercurrents because there's no proper motion. But when the surfs are in a very calm condition, though they're high surf, they can use that surf and take a proper control of their surf to the boats and bring to the shore. So the first state is very disturbed state called scattered state called Chitta, violent state. The mind is very, very unsteady, uncooperative, and no peace, constantly changing its nature, thinking. You are reading, took a book to read. Out of 2 seconds, then you took a cup of coffee, sipped and left there. Turn the television, turn the radio, and dance and coffee. Just walk a little bit back and forth. And come on, say no, I don't want to see you. Oh, okay, I want to see you. Come on, I'll talk. No, I don't want to. You know that state of mind. I don't need to describe. You all experience that state of mind, is it not? Everybody has experienced that. That's called Chitta. Patanjali says this is called Chitta state of the mind, the first mode. Then comes Vikshipta, second state of the mind, called gathered state. It's not as scattered. You can gather it and bring it to one area, focus, but it goes away. Again you bring it back, because gathering, it's scattered race into one area. As you are doing it now, though your mind is going to liberty, to have a nice date with the lady, with all the fireworks and beautiful music and dances and all those things, what is going on in the Manhattan. So you'll be thinking that, okay, Swamiji said, he'll concentrate his lecture. By that time, oh my God, maybe what happened to my house? I left my husband there alone. And what he'll be doing, he's got his friends and maybe he's making a big party out of it. He'll be drinking and smoking there. Or your children may be in the home. They must have gone with the boat and to see the lady. And they may be in the midst of so many thousands of boats coming from all over. So you'll be again you brought, this is called scattered. And it's not scattered. Called gathering state, called Vikshipta. This is what happens to when you have more steady mind, like when you read a book, when you try to solve your mathematical problems, analyze how to increase your income, etc., or any other research work, or good or bad. You use the mind in a gathered state. At that time, you don't want to be disturbed too much by anybody. Suppose you are concentrating on some problems. I said somebody, okay, I'll talk to you later on, though she may be your wife or children. Please don't disturb me. I have to concentrate on the subject because I have to finish this article or send this important data for my boss to the office. I must finish this before I go. So you think you are gathering. This you all know that. This state of mind also you know. I don't need to describe. The third stage is called Mudha, inert state, or mind is now incapable of doing anything, no thinking, it's not disturbed, it's Mudha, but it's inert. You don't want to do anything, but you are not sleeping. but eyes are wide open. Someone calls, your wife calls, honey, dinner. Oh, you don't want to see newspaper? Oh, no. Don't you want to see that the firework is going? Oh, no, I don't care. Don't you want just come on, have a cup of coffee? I don't care, just leave me. I don't even talk to them. You know that state also. This is called Mudha state. There is a cartoon in the always a handicap. What is that handicap that man? Always he sleeps and he's got always excuses how to be more tamasic. He's got every excuses, you see, to be tamasic. Sometimes I learn many things from these cartoons. They're very intelligent people. With a few drawings, they can give what we can write in a whole book. They can give in a nutshell, you know. And one of the cartoons just recently I read, you know, the handicap. And he says, the wife says to some friend, you know, he's sleeping and he's got some job to do. And he's not doing so. I think his mother-in-law or somebody asked him, what about the job? Oh, handicap he is always thinking about it, but he never makes up his mind to do. So he's still sleeping, heard that remark. He is thinking about it, but he never makes up his mind. Then he got up and told her, do not just put that in my, I'm not even thinking about it. You think that you can fool me by using that word? I'm not even thinking about it. Why do you just accuse me like that? That's called Mudha state, you see. You don't think at all, you don't want to do anything, you know that state of mind too. Sadhana, you know that state of mind, is it not? You don't want to see anybody, any student, you just want to vegetate. Well, these three states you know of the mind. These are the waves. One scattered waves, gathering state. Waves are more controlled, like in a surfboard can easily now surf through the waves and using the same wave and the controlled way. Little difficult will be there, but still he can control the surfboard and reach whatever he wants to do. And sometimes he will be thrown off, again he will climb up, again he will just take up that surfing, same exercise. You all know that. Now the other two states, you are unable to understand it. This is called Ekagrata and Niruddha. Ekagrata is one-pointedness. We heard about Ekagrata or one-pointedness. It's called concentration or dharana in Sanskrit. It's just like the same scattered rays are brought into one area or one simple point. Example is take a magnifying lens and you gather this rays of the sun and focus that rays of the sun through the lens and bring to a pinpoint area. That scattered rays of the sun is now become very, very powerful, and that small spot, it can burn objects. You can light a cigarette, you can burn a paper, or you can burn your own skin. So when it was scattered, it has got no power. When it's gathered and pointed to one area, concentrated area, this is called Ekagrata. So if your mind is just like that, that scattered mind of the rays which goes to the five senses, ears, sight, smell, taste and touch. These are five senses of knowledge. Mind is going all five directions, like five horses taking the cart into five different directions. Your mind is completely unable to control and no peace. So you are gathering all that rays. That's called pratyahara. Through pratyahara, you become one able to concentrate this rays, and then through dharana, focusing, you are able to pinpoint to any one of the chakras, plexus, or on a sound Om, or on a picture of your master, or Krishna, or Rama, or Jesus, or Moses, or Star of David, or cross. Irrespective of what the object is, the technique of focusing is the same. Just like the rays of the sun, when it is gathered, you can focus it on a piece of paper and light it, or you can use to light the cigarette, or you can burn a small portion of your skin. So that is, the technique remains the same, but the object of focusing will be different. So different people use different types of objects for concentration or focusing the mental rays. And when that focusing becomes perfect, is called meditation or dhyana. So pratyahara, concentration, and meditation are one and the same, except the quality of the concentration. In the lower state of concentration, you call it pratyahara, or withdrawing the mind from the senses. As you do when you want to meditate, first what you do, there's noise outside. When you start meditating, we found the noise coming from nowhere. So what we did, oh please get rid of the raccoon, where the noise is coming from. That's called pratyahara, so that at least I will not be disturbed by the sound. And if you are living in your room, you just close all the doors and windows so that noise won't come from outside or from the next room. Then you close your eyes, put out the light or a dim light, and still you close your eyes. That's called pratyahara. So did pratyahara withdraw the mind from the hearing, then take the place of the mind from the eyes, then smell and taste. Of course, even if the smell comes, you don't want to be disturbed by the smell of your pizza or ice cream or some other hot dogs, hamburgers. So you put some incense. That is brought a kind of negative effect of brought a positive type of smell to negate the negative smell experience. That incense made up of true incense made up of sandalwood, and that has got a neutralizing effect of your smell and bring the mind naturally from outside to inward. It calms the mind, the mental rays. We can put also other type of smell like a lady's perfume, channel 5 and channel 6. But that type of perfume will only increase the velocity of the mind. As most of the big perfumes, very expensive perfumes, are made up of animal sweat during the heat. Animals are attracted to opposite sex. How? By smell. Their odor comes out from their sweat glands, and then that creates a kind of smell, and then a cat knows where the female cat is because she's going on sending this odor to all the prospective clients to come. Same thing, human beings, what you do, they put it in a French perfume and cost about $500, nice beautiful bottle, and then woman put a little bit here and there and so forth, and the opposite, ooh, and men, there it is something real, and you start running. Where the smell is coming? Oh, you got a beautiful smell, honey. And the man's mind goes wild, just like the dog or cat. That's the purpose of the perfume, to excite the senses, not to calm the senses, and become very passionate afterwards, And the incense is opposite. It just reduces the velocity. True incense, suddenly calm your mind, concentration comes. Like great musician, like sitar player, like Ravi Shankar, he will never play sitar unless have you seen, he always lights incense before he starts playing. He will get that mood only because he must stop all of the senses. Only he concentrate on his anahata chakra in the sound to tune to the external sound and to create the melodious music through that string. And of course, our Amba is going to play a little bit. May not much time, but we'll have little this morning and tomorrow morning also you can do it. And you can see that sound is inner experience of the anahata sound they are able to produce through their vocal or the instruments. So Revelation itself, he will never play his music in a negative atmosphere. He needs conditions and incense burning. And many other dancers in India, true dancers, they will never dance they create a temple or altar. They put Nataraja, statue of Lord Nataraja, Shiva, the dancing Lord. And so they create an atmosphere to create that positive experience. Then only they also get into the mood and they can create a vibration which will recharge the audience. And so this inner music comes only when the mind is in ekagrata state. Any musicians, when they are disturbed, we're having a big orchestra is going about 200 musicians at 200 different types of instruments playing by 200 people, and then one person with a small stick is just waving in the front. I said, my God, what is, I never knew what they are doing. Anyhow, conductor you call it. And when it's the first time, the conductor doing, my God, what is it? This very simple, I can do that. Only have to do that. This anyone can do. That's very simple, But what he is doing is, he is tuning the concentration of the 200 people's 200 instruments into one. All of them have to focus on him, and he has to focus on 200 instruments and make it into one. One small note in one place is sufficient. It will be just like how the conductor will feel. As if he's been stabbed. Unbearable pain. Of course, I wouldn't know anything about different for me. I don't know. When the Amba is trying to tune her veena, I never know what she is doing. But she only hears this going this way and that way. I never understand what it is. Still, all the people of she's trying to tune the tabla, kidda. And I can also do hitting, but I don't know what they are doing. I don't have that sense. All the musicians, like great Tyagaraja, composer, and he composed not when the mind is in a scattered state or disturbed state, or even it is completely tuned to the Lord Rama in ecstasy. When he saw the drama's beautiful form, his mind completely merged in the drama consciousness. At that time the music came. Tyagaraja is well known in South India. It's only very classical top musician can play that tune. Very, very difficult. But he did not compose intellectually. When he is in tune to the cosmic forces, it came down from his mouth. It's Krabi. Same thing, even in the Western musician, I read one of the biography, I read someplace, a story of one of the great movie stars from New York. She's a Jewish called Barbara Streisand. She said, when she was a small child, she used to hear the sound in her ear. She thought everyone hears sound in the ear, so she went asked other kids, do you hear the sound? I said, no. They thought she must be either crazy or what. She said later on, she developed her musical talent by tuning to the inner sound. It's called anahata sound. So when this inner sound awakens through concentration, focusing the mind, people have different psychic experiences, spiritual experiences. That's why the same musician, two people can play the same veena or same sitar, but one person can just make the people to stand still, because he's not merely tuning the physical veena or physical guitar or strings, he's tuning the sound from within because of concentration. And to concentrate that, the more they concentrate and able to tune, the more the sound creates an ecstasy in people. So all the instruments have that capacity to still the mind because they are tuning to the anahata sound and the same vibration coming from the player. Same thing with the lights also. You all like certain vibrations, sound also vibrations, waves. So the light also waves. That's seven visible spectrum: violet, indigo, green, blue, yellow, orange, red. We all know in the radio or in the rainbow. That's seven colors there. We all know that. For waves, we all also know that. There are also invisible layers behind the violet, they call ultraviolet and X-rays and so forth, and beyond the red called infrared and radio spectrum, etc. They're all waves. But only our eyes can detect only 7 waves which we codify, called violet, indigo, green, blue, yellow, orange, red, etc. We just codify that variable. So we don't call it wave, we call it colors. But that's nothing but waves. And these waves actually is not outside, it is within. There are 7 chakras. Each chakra vibrates with a specific wavelength. It's got a specific sound. Like the lower chakra called Lam, I'll explain that tomorrow. But only I'm touching it up there. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Ham, Om. So this vibrates with a specific wavelength, specific amplitude, and frequencies. Like in the radio spectrum, there are long waves, short waves, medium waves, from modified frequencies, etc. You all know all those things. Same way, each chakra vibrates with a specific wavelength, and the wavelength is lowest called earth center, called yellow color, or earth means yellow wavelength, and then water, Vam, Ram, fire, Manipura, Yam, the heart, air, Vam, the Vishuddha, the ether, Om, and then 1000 petal lotus, the crown chakra. All this you know by this time a little bit basic. But what exactly we are talking about is all nothing but waves. And so the sound waves as well as light waves exist. Each chakra radiates. Suppose the earth principle, there are 5 basic elements: earth, water, air, fire, and ether. Though you call earth the solid metal is earth. Not only earth means the earth on the ground. Any solid matter is earth, any liquid is water, even the molten lava is liquid water. And any gas is called air, any fire, any energy, heat, even radiation is fire, and ether, the primordial substance called ether, and then the mind, thought. That's the 6th element. So the 5 basic elements, earth, water, air, fire, and ether, called the nature density or nature of the wavelength. The same object can be water, that's liquid, or it can be solid, ice, or it can gaseous nature, like a steam or hydrogen, oxygen, original state. But the solid, liquid, or steam, whatever it is, not only is her velocity of the wavelength is changed, but substance is always H2O. Same way, the mind, thought, or waves, according to nature of the thought, you also see colors. If your earth cross center is operating, the thought is in a very low state, you call yellow, or prithvi tattva we call it. So sometimes when you close your eyes, you can see yellow color. So sometimes you can see blue color, orange, etc. Different colors you can see when you meditate. This actually shows that what particular element is operating or what particular wavelength is more suppressing other elements. Just like if you are using a red glass, you see everything is red, because that red glass only allows a particular wavelength to come pass through. Rust has been inner light again, just like that. We imitate the inner sound through the instrument we create, by flute, guitar, sitar, violin, piano, etc. Same way, these inner lights also we create outside artificially. That's called fireworks. Perhaps you never knew why there is fireworks. Firework is common throughout the world. Doesn't matter, in every big festivals and small festivals, there are fireworks throughout the world. So also, big person, old person, small person, children, young, intelligent, philosophical, non-philosophical, saint, yogis, everybody likes a good firework. Show me who doesn't like a firework. Show the hand here, please. Everybody. You ever thought of that? Why? Because that's the closest we can create the inner experience of these colors. Touch, placing colors on the black, dark night, changing its colors and patterns. It's just a kind of experience you get when you see the waves inside during meditation. Because we cannot produce that waves inside, so we create outside through the fireworks. And that, because I think they spend about $10 million for the fireworks for this ladies' festival, birthday. It is one of the most spectacular things. 15 million people will be watching. So all their minds are united, just like the conductor is focusing. Everybody is now gazing, and at that time, their mind is always overjoyed. They forget all their sorrow, suffering, pain. They don't remember anything. They don't even know the heart problems, liver problems, kidney problems. They only see. That is called inner experience. So we all have this inner experience. When you focus the mind, we get this without outside going into any external objects and sounds. We can get from within. That's called niruddha, yagagra state brings up. And that will lead you to niruddha, automatic suspension of the mind. The mind is no more motion. It is completely still, but it's more powerful. It's not still like an inert state. It is not dull. but extreme active. Because it's extreme brightness, you can't see it. Just like when you look at the sun, you are blinded. Also, when you look in the darkness, also you can't see. When you look at the sun, you can't see because the extreme brightness. When you look at the darkness, also you can't see. It's not the one and the same. One, there is no light, other is too much. So the extreme high state of mind, there is an infinite experience of joy, bliss, ananda, or the peace that passeth all understanding, the Bible says. You can't describe that peace at that time. We call it God consciousness, self-consciousness, universal consciousness. In Hatha Yoga we call it Udmanyavastha, Raja Yoga we call Asamprajnata Samadhi, and in Bhakti Yoga they call Bhava Samadhi, like Radha and Krishna, or Gopis, or even Mirabai attend that Bhava Samadhi. So all of one and the same means, doesn't matter what name you call it, that mind is completely reached a standstill. Either through devotion, or repetition mantra, or chakra meditation, or awakening the kundalini, or doing control of the prana, or through who am I inquiry. What exactly happening is mind is still, completely, no more activity, but it's extremely powerful, unbelievably powerful, infinite its power. And that's called yoga chitta vritti nirvana. That's called independent state. Only when you know that who am I, then you are independent. When you think I am the body, I'm an American, I'm a Russian, I'm a Jew, I'm a Catholic, I'm Protestant, I'm Arab, I'm a Hindu, I'm a Swami, I'm a Rabbi, that is not the independent state. That's called dependent state. I am depending upon various names and objects and qualities. You have to transcend all this, called gunatita, transcending all sattva, rajas and tamas, and read the transcendental state or gunatita or without qualities. This is called independent state. And today we are celebrating that independence externally, that we want freedom, but man do not understand the freedom is inside. But anyhow, we need external freedom too. To sit and meditate and talk like this, we need freedom. You need food first of all, in the place, and you also need a government which won't object to do all this type of things. In many countries, these type of things are not allowed. I don't want to mention the names. I had been there in many countries. Throughout the world I traveled, both communist and non-communist, etc. Many countries, this is not allowed. What you are doing now, you cannot meditate, you can't pray, you can't talk, discuss philosophy. This is all against the law. But you got freedom. You can do anything here. You can even scold President Reagan, but still no one will bother you. And that is called freedom. Because you need external religious freedom, political freedom. God has given you this freedom to America. Somehow, British was once upon a day, British sun never set in the British Empire, the old, of course, sun never rises in British Empire. And then rising sun of Japan, the big emperor, the rising sun Japan, it's all gone now. It's only the dollar is only value there. And before that, Rome was in great powerful country, then Greece. You see in the history, the power moved from one country to another, and in this century, the power moved to America. And America has got the only country has got the freedom to create this freedom, even to create this freedom to sit and talk. Whether here, even Canada, I was talking that though Canada is not a big country like America, but there also we can just, even RCMP came, the High Commission came to for our opening, and the RCMP came and just to check up everything is okay because a lot of terrorist problems there. And again, as they will not interfere in anything as long as only one they have to protect. So there no one will disturb our meditation. But in other countries, the police are sent to stop it. And that power in Canada, what you are doing, or in India, doesn't matter which free country, we can discuss, little, pray and sit and so forth. They don't have the power. It is the power coming from America. You got material power, monetary power, political power, and religious freedom. All the things necessary exist. Only if there is any freedom anywhere, anyone can do this type of things boldly, fearlessly, and that's because the freedom exists in America. If that freedom is lost, America lost that freedom, which you may not even know what is going to happen to this planet Earth. Darkness will prevail throughout the world. No one can again do anything like that, what you are doing. So I come for that purpose because I like freedom, external as well as internal. Here I can talk anything, but I don't talk to ignite or excite anyone with the passion or emotions, but still to bring the spiritual side awaken. And I can do freely. I was in Russia, I was in Czechoslovakia and many other places. You cannot do these things without the government permission, and they won't give you this type of permission for this. So there is freedom in your country. You don't even understand that what the freedom means. You were born with that. Everyone can, even if you want a car, you can just call the leader and he will bring you car and give you $500 also. In India, for getting the car. In India, you have to wait. Even get an ordinary small car, you have to wait 5 years, 6 years in waiting, and you have money, must have money completely. Still you won't get it. And like the Maruti car, etc. And the people are just running for it, and thousands of lakhs of rupees they pay, and they have to wait days, months, and years even to get it. And that's so you got the freedom in everything. You can just get any car, anything you wanted. All these type of gadgets, etc. For you is nothing. But many countries, it's far beyond their imagination to see a video camera flicking and radios and mics, and all this are far beyond their imagination. You got all that. But you don't care all those things. You came and sat here, that's called renunciation. You got comforts and conveniences, you got bathrooms and hot dogs and hamburger stands and the top and bottom, the whole Manhattan is vibrating. People coming from all over the world, they're looking forward to see the Statue of the Liberty. That lady, that once they see that, they think is seeing the God for them. And they're all, and you all, I saw when I was coming from Canada, we had early morning, we had a small few cars. I thought many Canadians will be coming this way. But after coming in Albany, we saw that people are not coming this way. The other side of the line is completely filled. The people running away from New York, away to upstate. They're completely packed up there. Everyone is running away from New York to escape. But everyone is coming to New York and you are running away from New York. So that you can find your true freedom. So there's outside freedom, you got it. But do not abuse that outside freedom. Whatever the freedom you got, your home, bank balance, cars, and the political freedom, religious freedom, all this you got it. But if you abuse, that's what Americans are doing, meant for the Americans, that abuse their freedom. You got gay rights and topless and bottomless and bunnies and rabbits and so forth and all those things. And many bunnies are closed. Their bunny clubs are closed. Playboy clubs are closed. You already know that. You got the freedom, but sometimes you abuse that freedom. And that's the thing which is going to destroy the freedom of this universe. Once you lose the freedom, the entire world will lose the freedom. You will not be able to do anything like this, what you are doing. So pray that the freedom is kept, independence is kept, and that liberty, the lady, is only a symbol of the freedom. Many people, your forefathers came to that, looking that lady for freedom in America, and you're all descendant of that people. And but do not abuse this freedom. Now you are learning a new type of freedom. In the history of America, this type of meditation, yoga, only started very recently. When I came in 57, no one knew about yoga, asanas, etc. I introduced yoga, this type of discipline, exercise, breathing, meditation. I have introduced this thing to you all, and you are now able to understand this freedom. Keep this freedom. It became in your heart. The true freedom is in your heart, and that's freedom from the clutches of their senses and the habit mind. Reduce the velocity of the mind by focus it, and this focusing is done to many ways. And the method is through Hatha Yoga, Pranayama, we call it. Hatha Yoga is not exercise. How entire sun and moon, I'll explain tomorrow morning. And we come to practical experience and practical exercise we do tomorrow morning, meditation and talk. With that, we'll conclude this independent. We got some fireworks, no?
I didn't put.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow we got some fireworks. And thank you all. And it is beautiful to see spiritual people sitting together and reducing the velocity of the mind. That's all the freedom. And you have the freedom. You are the true independent. Externally you are independent because you can do anything you want in your country. You got freedom of your monetary way. Every way you got freedom. You are Shiva, Uma Maheshwara, Jai Jai Arati, Rajarajeshwari, Rajarajeshwari, Tripura Sundari, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati, Mahakali, Mahashakti, Jai Jai Arati, Anjaneya, Anjaneya, Hanumanta, Jai Jai Arati, Datatreya, Datatreya, Trimurtiyavaram, Jai Jai Arati, Adityaya, Adityaya, Bhaskaraya, Jai Jai Arati, Shanishwaraya, Shanishwaraya, Bhaskaraya, Jai Jai Arati, Sadgurunatha, Sadgurunatha, Sivananda, Jai Jai Arati, Venugopala. Om Nadatta Surya Bhadna Chandadarikam Nema Vijido Bhadi Gudayamatmihi Tamev Bhandaman Bhadi Sarvam Tasya Bhasa Sarmidam Vibhadi Om Gange Chimine Cheva Godavari Saraswati Namade Sindhu Kaveri Namastubhyam Namo Namaha. Tvameva Mada Shapika Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuru Chasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Vidyam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Navadeva Deva Ayena Vacha Manasendriya Buddhyat Pranava Pranaya Svabhavat Karomi Yadam Sagamam Parasmai Narayanai Samaprayami Sarvadharman Pariseshe Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarvabhayo Long exhalation, long inhalation, again the deepest exhalation possible. Now inhale, pull up the energy, combine prana, apana, have that imagination, prana is moving like stream, electricity, whichever the imagination you prefer, you take it, but imagination is important. Then the prana moves up according to your prana. You can stop. When you cannot continue, you just inhale and hold the breath as you did just now and bring the prana to Ajna Chakra and your thought. That's all you have to do. So we go to 200 pumping. At the end, when you cannot hold the breath, then you exhale very gently, inhale, exhale. You start doing Kevala Kumbhaga, that means automatic suspension of breath. Again, whenever you say breath means, always understand the breathing is done by the impulses coming from the brain to the respiratory muscles. That's called prana, that's called impulse. When you say controlling of the breath means you are controlling those impulses. I'll discuss again more clearly after that meditation. But understand, when you say hold the breath means you are holding this impulse to breathe. Also you must hold the impulse going to the lower chakras, sexual and sensual organs, to Muladhara chakra. And that's called apana, holding of the apana. So whenever you hold the breath, you are holding both prana going to the respiratory muscles, same way you are holding the prana going to the lower centers, and that's called pranayama. And that when these two impulses are united, it becomes very powerful energy, and it will start vibrating, and the frequency will increase and amplitude will change. Because of that nature of the frequency and amplitude, that's called awakening the Shakti, or changing your vibratory level from the gross to the subtle. And subtler the energy, it penetrates deeper and deeper into the higher chakras. Because gross prana or gross energy cannot go to upper chakras, only subtle one or frequency with high amplitude and high wavelength only can go to upper chakras. And when it reaches the Ajna chakra, it reaches the highest point in a very subtle state. And then you hold the breath, and when you inhale, exhale very gently, again you are practicing pranayama, because you are regulating that impulse, imperceptibly coming in and out, but so little you don't even feel the impulse is coming to your respiratory muscles. You don't even feel you are breathing. And it comes effortlessly, but not forcibly. And that effortless breathing, when the breath only comes maximum an inch from your nostril when you exhale, that's called length of the breath. An inch from the nostril maximum. That means if you don't know what the inch is, at least think when you exhale, the breath should not come to the end of the upper lip. Just maximum is the breath comes only to the upper lip. But beyond the upper lips, it will not come out. That's called length. And reduce that to half the lips, bring it to half the area of the, not from the nostril, half inch. And then further, if you can still go down deeper and deeper by practicing, eventually it will be just prana will flow only within the nostril. That means inhalation, exhalation is possible within the nostril. That's called kevala kumbhaka, or automatic suspension of the impulses or prana. Now let us first do 200 pumping or 100 pumping, whatever the way you do, but practice again properly at the end. For 15 minutes you must do rhythmic breathing. And when you do inhale, exhale, slowly repeat the use of pranayama, the mantra, inhale Om, exhale Om, or inhale Om Namah Shivaya, or exhale Om Namah Shivaya, or whatever the mantra you are having, you repeat that mantra along with the physical breath and mental concentration. Now begin. Inhale, exhale, inhale, begin. Exhale. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, inhalation, long inhalation. So again, the deepest exhalation possible. Now fill up the most beautiful fresh air, and run beautiful fresh prana. Contract the sphincter muscles and pull up the energy, full concentration and imagination. Bring up the prana to Ajna Chakra, hold it there with all your concentration. And when you cannot hold it, inhale, exhale, as I told you before, very gently, as you don't even feel you are breathing. Make sure your breath will not come more than an inch from the nostril maximum. And effortlessly you breathe with the sound Om or with the mantra. I leave it for the next 15 minutes to continue your inner concentration or one-pointedness of the mind, which I call Ekagrata, I explained last night. Now bring the mind to the Ekagrata state or one-pointed state, like a scattered rays of the sun is focused on a small point. It becomes